and we are live.
And what happened to the countdown?
Hey, it was happening. You
Yeah, it
just,
was happening.
I don't know. Your phone was just like, yeah, we're not showing you the countdown. We'll show everybody else. We're not showing Yashawan.
Damn. All right, man. Well,
Did he mute himself?
Yeah, he's muted.
Oh man, this guy muted himself. What the hell?
We can't hear you.
There we go.
I don't know what happened, man. My phone did the countdown late. I can still hear the noise that be playing for the countdown. I can still hear it.
Hey, man, you gotta get off that McDonald's Wi-Fi, man.
Word.
Shalom, shalom.
Can y'all hear me now?
Con.
Oh man, let me come back in, man. I'm gonna come back in.
Oh man. Well, while that brother figures out his device situation, we are live. We are YAHAWAH'S camp. And Shuv, you got it.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Nah, you got it, brother.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Israel. We are YAHAWAH'S camp. I'm the brother Yashuv.
Khan, this is Captain Ram. Shalom, Yashala.
His brother Ephraim, Shalom.
This brother Imak, Shalom.
This brother Hezekiah, Shalom.
This brother Shalak.
And then we got Officer Dawad there. We have brother Josh the Gadite, and the brother Yashawan. He's gonna be coming in shortly, so we can start this lesson. Are you guys ready to celebrate some Easter tonight?
Hey, lie to the eye. Hey, to let me back on that. Hey, Shalom, Yashala. Also, happy unleavened bread for those that are celebrating as well. Remember to eat your unleavened bread daily, as the scriptures tells us or ordains us to do. So we got again, we got the brother or the officer Yashawan hopping right back in. He having some technical difficulties. That could be the brother just hop back in. Shalom, is that you, Officer Yashawan? Can you hear us?
Nah, that's Zephaniah. Zephaniah took his place.
Oh, hey, Shalom, Officer Zephaniah. Shalom.
Hey,
Shalom.
Yeah,
Con. So
I'll back out so he can go ahead and jump in.
Con.
Hey, Shalom to the
phone up then, right?
What'd you say?
You're gonna charge up your phone then, right?
Man, get off of it. Hey, Yashawan, I'm about to jump out so you can jump in. Hey, Shalom. Y'all about
and Shalom to their brother. Shalom to their brother Melodic Tunes LLC. Shalom to that brother. Not sure where you located, brother, but the water for hopping in the room. We getting ready to get started. Again, we having some technical difficulties from our officer Yashawan as he hops in. If anybody got questions, that's how it's tuning in. Please post them on the thread. Go ahead and post your questions or where you located. If you believe Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of, put a 1 in the chat. Hallelujah. And if you believe also that America, Babylon, will fall and will burn, put another 1 in the chat and drop them bombs for us.
Shalom, can y'all hear me now?
There you go. Shalom, King. Welcome back.
All praise, man. Satan always trying to interfere, man. All right, so we good. All right, then y'all already went through the panel with the introduction.
We went through the panel. Anybody who's just now back to their phone or their mic, unmute yourself. We're gonna go with officers and soldiers first, and then we're gonna just work like that, so that way no one's over talking each other. So if you're an officer or a soldier that didn't get a chance to introduce themselves, do so first, and then we'll go ahead and mute. And then, as we said, as promised, Officer Yashawan is going to go into some good understanding and breakdowns, history, things of that nature for the Israelite nation to hop in and get this good food. So I'm gonna go on mute. Y'all brothers, go ahead and take it away.
Shalom, Officer Zephaniah.
Shalom, shalom. This brother Yashawan by YAHAWAH'S.
All right, we'll go with the soldiers next, and then we good to go.
Shalom, this is the brother Shalak.
Shalom, it's brother Hezekiah.
And of course, we got Soldier Joshua the Gadite. I think that's it. Oh, and our brother Corey King as well, Soldier Corey King. Welcome to the panel, to the stage. All praise to the Most High. I'm gonna let Yashawan, Officer Yashawan, go ahead and take us out. And just sit back, enjoy, and take notes. If you got questions, please post them in the chat, and we're gonna get to them as best we can. Shalom.
All praises. So first off, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. We want to say Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters that's tuning in. Right. So welcome to YAHAWAH'S camp. Shabbat class today. We just go get into some information and some history about the origins of Easter. Right. For all those who know, we got what they call Easter Sunday coming up tomorrow. So we just go get into some of that information, right? So can somebody give me Acts chapter 12, and we go start there. Right, so we just go pull up some information. We go into a couple of books to bring out some info about the origins of Easter. So when somebody give me Acts chapter 12, and we go start it off with that, right?
What verse, brother?
So start at verse 1. But before we start, like I said, a lot of our people who don't know, a lot of our people that's into Christianity, they gonna be celebrating Easter Sunday tomorrow. And you still got a lot of people, you got a lot of people that's coming out and saying, we can celebrate Easter because Easter in the Bible, right? A lot of people be saying that, Easter in the Bible, we can celebrate Easter, but we go into it and break it down for you folks so our people can understand, right? Because it's a misconception going out there that we can celebrate Easter because Easter is in the Bible, right? So Ephraim, can you go into you got it pulled up? Yeah, we go into that word where it say Easter. So let's start off with Acts 12 and 1.
Book of Acts, chapter 12, verse 1. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread.
So let's stop right there. Hold on, let's stop right there. So when we read the context, this is going into the days of unleavened bread. So a lot of these Christians, they say, well, Easter's in the Bible, so we can celebrate Easter. But just like they tell us, you got to get the context, right? You got to read the context in the chapter to see what it's going into. So before we even go to the next verse, you can already see that it's talking about the days of unleavened bread, right? So let's read the next verse.
Khan. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter.
Hold on,
to
after
bring him
what?
After Easter.
After Easter. So people say, well, the word Easter in the Bible, so that means we can celebrate Easter, right? So it says, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people, right? But when we read the verse before, it said that was going into the days of unleavened bread, right? Because what you gonna come to find out is that nowhere else in the scriptures do you see this word Easter, right? The word Easter is not you can't find it in the Old Testament. You can't find that word Easter nowhere else in the New Testament. This the only scripture in the Bible where you find the word Easter. So what is this really going into? Is this the same Easter that our people gonna be celebrating tomorrow? Right. So let's go into that word Easter.
Khan.
If you can pull it up, go into that word Easter. So let's find out what this is actually talking about.
Strong's G 3957. Pascha. Pascha.
Right. So when you go into that word in the translation, it says go into that again.
Khan. It is
Strong's G 3957. Pascha.
Right, which we all know when you go into the Hebrew is Pesach, which goes into the Passover, right? So you gonna come to find out that the Easter that it's talking about in Acts chapter 12 is just a mistranslation on Pesach or the Passover. So this is not talking about the same Easter that everybody gonna be celebrating tomorrow, right? Because the Most High always went into details about certain high holy days. When you go into the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, we have certain dates where we celebrate certain high holy days, right? Like you got
Yeah,
the
I'm here.
first month, the 14th day at even on the first month, you got the Passover, which goes into the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The 7th month, the first day, you got the Feast of Trumpets. So why don't we read about the day where you celebrate Easter? What do you read in the Bible where we supposed to celebrate Easter in the month of April? Right? What you had, King Yashu?
No, I just had that Leviticus 23 for you, King. We're gonna get the people their Easter right now. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. I'll start at verse 1. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. So, like the brothers going into, this was something that was sanctified unto the children of Israel only, not unto all people, right? So, jumping down to verse 4, it says, these are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons, right? And it says, in the 14th day in the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. It says, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread. Unto Yahweh 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. So when you go back to Acts 12 and verse 3, like the brother was breaking down for the people, it's the same thing as Passover, so we're in that current state and time right now under the unleavened bread, gathering in the feast that the children of Israel kept unto the Most High Yahweh. And I stop right there, brother.
That's a powerful point, like the brother was saying, right? Because now we're going into the time of the Passover, but in the church, they telling our people that the law is done away with and we don't have to keep the high holy days, right? Meanwhile, in the church, they keeping all the holidays that all the pagan holidays that you have in America. right? So you telling me that we supposed to have faith in Jesus Christ, right? But when you read the Bible, Christ and the disciples, they kept the Passover, right? But in the church, they keep a Halloween, right? They keeping Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and all kind of pagan holidays, right? So let's go into could somebody give me Exodus chapter 20 and we go start at verse 1. And then I'm gonna bring out some information in this book real quick. Right. Could somebody go to Exodus 20 and 1? And then I'm gonna when you get there, let me know and I'm gonna start reading some stuff off in this book.
Shalak, you got that?
Yeah, I do.
Con.
All right, so we go start going into this book real quick. All right, so we go. I'm gonna be reading off in this book. I don't know if everybody can see on the screen, right? Can y'all see that?
Hey
I
Ephraim,
can see it.
can you put yeah, there you
Oh, I
go.
see
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Y'all can see it.
Yeah.
All right, so this book, if everybody that's in Israel, if you haven't heard of this book, I highly suggest that everybody look into this book, right? Along with all the rest of the books that the elder got. So this book is called Holiday Hustle, right? By the author of this book is Frank Zaquan Jordan, right? One of the elders of YAHAWAH'S camp, right? One of my favorite books, going into a lot of deep information about all the pagan holidays that we celebrate in America, right? So in this book, we go into the section where we're talking about the origins of Easter, right? Right. So a couple years ago, I went into this information and we did a breakdown about the origins of Easter. So we just go into it again, right? All right. So I'm gonna go into this section where it talk about Easter. It says Easter is known for its tradition of bunny rabbits, colored dyed eggs, family gatherings, dressing in really expensive attire to attend church on Sunday. And that's what our people gonna be doing tomorrow, right? That's exactly what our people gonna be into tomorrow, right? You gonna have the pastor, he gonna have on the all pink suit with the pink gaiters, right? He gonna pull up in the pink Cadillac, right? That's the type of madness and folly that our people are into in today's world, right? What he got? He got right. So it says, children getting released from school for spring break, but have you ever stopped to ask or question where did this day originate or come from? Right? And that's a lot of thing. That's one of the things that a lot of our people they don't even question, right? Like even when you go into Isaiah, it says the ox knoweth his owner and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. It said my people don't consider. Our people don't consider they true heritage, they true customs, right? Our people too indoctrinated in the customs of the heathens, right? Our people don't question the origins of Christmas. They could care less. That's just another day that our people get a day off work and a day off school to get drunk and turn up, right? And have a family dinner. As long as like if you got a group of Negroes around, as long as you got food and alcohol, that's all you need. Our people could care less about the pagan origins of all these holidays that they celebrate, right? As long as you got weed, alcohol, and food, hey, that's all you need for a group of Negroes, right? So our people don't question. That's why we have to come out and bring out this information. Because our people don't know how serious this is. Our people don't question stuff like this, right? So this is But have you ever stopped to ask or question where did this day originate or come from? Few people realize that Easter has very little to with the supreme being or establishing it as a high holy day in the Bible. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex, right? So let's go into that Exodus chapter 20, and we go start at verse 1 and we go read down to verse 5, right? So now we get into the origins of Easter, right? And I'm gonna read that part again. It says Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, which is a pagan deity, right? The Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex, right? So that has nothing to do with the scriptures. Nowhere in the Bible did the Lord tell us to celebrate Easter and worship Ishtar, right? Like we went into, the only place you find Easter in the Bible is in Acts the 12th chapter, which is a mistranslation, which goes into Passover or Pesach, right? So let's go into that in Exodus chapter 20, whoever got it.
Khan. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not have no other gods before me.
So let's
Thou
stop
shalt
right
not.
there. That's the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, right? But like the Lord said, his people don't even consider, right? Our people don't even consider that they breaking the first commandment, right? But what they gonna be doing in church tomorrow? They gonna be screaming Jesus, Amen, Hallelujah, praise God. But what God are you praising, right? They gonna be singing all those gospel songs, right? So what God are you really worshiping, right? The first commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me. But our people gonna be worshiping Ishtar tomorrow, right? Instead of celebrating the day that the Lord gave us, the Passover, right? The day where the Lord destroyed our enemies and delivered us from captivity. Now that's something to celebrate, right? But instead, our people celebrate all different type of madness and folly, right? Our people want to celebrate Thanksgiving, the day when millions of our people was being murdered. Our land was stolen from us, right? Our wives was being raped, right? Our children was being killed, right? Our people want to celebrate the 4th of July, the day we were still in slavery, right? So let's read on.
Khan. Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Right, of them that hate me. So if you celebrate Easter, then you hate the Most High God. If you celebrate Christmas, you hate the Most High God. You know why? Because this goes into the worshiping of different deities, right? Graven images. Ishtar is a graven image of the Assyrians and the Babylonians, right? You can study for yourself and look up different artifacts about Ishtar, right? Right. So let's read on. Keep reading in this book. Can somebody give me Ecclesiastes 10:6? If you want to get that, Ephraim or Josh. Ecclesiastes 10:6.
I
Right.
got it.
So let me read this part again. And remember, we're reading from this book called Holiday Hustle, right? So like I said, I suggest if you want to look into history and go into the origins of these different pagan holidays that our people celebrate in America, I highly suggest that you get this book. Right, a lot of information in this book. Right, it says Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, the egg and bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection? Right? And that's another thing, right? What what does eggs and bunnies have to do with the resurrection of Christ? Where in the Bible did it say that Christ's resurrection was in the was for the Easter celebration, right? So read that what you got in Ecclesiastes 10 and 6, Baba Kashar.
Khan. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in a low place.
Right. So the Lord said in these last days, folly is set in great dignity. Right. That's folly. You got a whole bunch of grown ass people tomorrow that's gonna be painting eggs. Right. They're gonna have the kids run around the backyard going egg hunting. Right. This is called folly. You gonna have grown men dressed in all pink tomorrow, talking about some happy Easter, right? And it says the rich sit in a low place, right? Who is the rich, right? The rich is our people, like Christ said in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, right? The Lord said, I know thy poverty, but thou art rich, right? And it says that rich sit in a low place, right? So we at the bottom of all these other nations because we want to continue to follow after the ways of the other nations when they're supposed to be following after our ways, right? Matter of fact, let me get this precept real quick. All right, let me get this precept real quick. Right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. It says, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me. Right, so the statutes and judgments is in the Torah, right? Keeping the Passover, keeping the Sabbath day, right? Keeping the all the high holy days, the Feast of Trumpets, right? The Feast of Unleavened Bread, not Easter, right? It says that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, right? So these laws, statutes, and commandments are supposed to be our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. What wisdom and understanding are we showing in the sight of the nations when we celebrating they holidays and they customs? Right? We keeping Easter and worshiping the gods of the other nations. Right? Grown men go be dressed in all pink, painting eggs. Right? I mean, this is folly. Right? Hey, I remember back in the day, man, on Easter Sunday, man, you had grown men on the corner had on the damn a bunny costume. It was a grown man and he had on a giant pink bunny costume, right? So this is the type of madness and folly that our people indulge in these last days. That's why the Lord said folly is set in great dignity, right?
Salakia.
Right, look at that, man. So let me finish verse 6 real quick. It says, keep therefore and do them, For this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So do these other nations look at us like we are wise and understanding people? Right? That's the question that our people should be asking. Are they saying, damn, look at these kings, man, they have a lot of wisdom, right? Now they look at us like we nothing because we continue to follow after their ways instead of following after the ways of our God, right? That's why these other nations look down on us and call us different bywords, right? They say, look at these niggas, right? Look at these wetbacks, right? All these other nations look down on our people because we follow the ways after them when they're supposed to be following after our ways, right? So what you had, King Ron?
Yeah, Salakia. Now I was just saying, going back to that bunny rabbit, man. I was with my daughter in the mall last week, and she was scared to death of that bunny rabbit. We was going somewhere else. Of course, in the mall they got your kids sitting on Peter Cottontail's lap, you know,
Right.
whatnot, like Santa Claus. They always want kids. They always want kids sitting on your lap, man. They always want to have kids sitting on some stranger's lap. You don't know what that dude got going on, but now I digress. But my daughter, she was afraid because it was wicked as hell, right? And that
Mm-hmm.
he's 10 and 6, and that folly, my that spirit don't resonate with my daughter. That folly that was set up in great dignity in the middle of the mall. I just had a line of kids sitting
Mm-hmm.
on a person's lap. You don't know who he is. You probably couldn't point him out in the street if you seen that person under the mask. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Under the mask, you see that damn rabbit. You see that person, and you don't know who it is. He can be a murderer or whatever, a pedophile, whatever the case may be, and they exist, and they sitting on your kids' laps, or your kids sitting on their laps or whatnot. Just be careful with that. We try to teach our people not to adopt the ways of the heathen, and a lot of times, man, our kids are traumatized just off Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or whatever the case may be. But yeah, my daughter didn't like that, so I just want to yield on that.
Right. Right. And that's like you said, that's madness. Right. And a lot of our children too, like the brother was saying, in their spirit, our young children, a lot of them are closer to the Most High at a young age than we are. And a lot of our people try to force the pagan customs of these other nations on their children. A lot of our children come out the womb at a young age and realize that the things that we into today is folly, right? Like the brother said, that's why when you have a lot of our young children, I be in the mall too, man. I be seeing our people be trying to force their kids to sit on Santa Claus lap. The little kids, man, they be crying and yelling and screaming, foaming at the mouth. They be like, I don't wanna do it, right? And a lot of people be forcing their kids to sit on Santa Claus lap, man, and take pictures with the Easter Bunny and the elves and the kids. They don't even want to do it because they know it's off. Even on Halloween, man, I remember my mom, she used to put costumes on my little brothers, man. They be dressing up like monsters, then they look in the mirror and they be screaming and yelling. They're like, who is that? Right? A lot of kids they don't like Halloween and dressing up in scary costumes with and sitting on Santa Claus lap. That's not in their spirit, right? That's why the Lord said in the law, you shall not allow your kids to pass through the fire, right? A lot of our people force our children to get involved in these pagan customs, right? So,
That's beautiful. Hey, look, you spoke the scripture. I was gonna tell it. Hey, matter of fact, real quick, can somebody just grab 2 Kings 17:17?
Con,
You know what I mean? Because I don't think the people really, realize,
I
man,
got it.
that you traumatizing these kids for real, man. Just for a picture.
Right.
Just for
I
a
got the
picture. But
precept y'all needed.
you're doing a lot more. Go ahead and read it, King.
2 Kings 17:17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to
Right.
provoke him
Stop
to
right there.
anger.
Right. So you provoking. You don't even realize that you're provoking the Holy One to anger by using, children. Precious children that are innocent, that come into the world, full of sin, full of abominations, and these kids are terrified, like the mighty Captain Ram was going into. You bringing your daughter, and she's scared of something you ain't even inviting her to. But you got parents that they get ready. They like, no, I need this picture to go on the wall in the house. But you making your kids to pass through the fire. You making your kids to serve other gods. Don't nobody, and you ain't trying to have your kids sit on the Most High's lap with this word in the last days. You're
Right.
going off. That's the only lap these kids should be going to right now is the seat of these scriptures. You understand?
That's right.
Yeah. But
And that's
that's
right.
yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Kind of like we said, like we have to stop forcing our children to go into these pagan customs, right? Like the brother said, we read in Ecclesiastes, this is a folly being set in great dignity. Idol worshiping is at an all-time high in the world that we live in today, right? You literally have all the gods of all the kingdoms that ruled on earth in this one nation. All the gods of Egypt, all the gods of Assyria, Babylon, Mesopotamia, Greek, Rome, Persia, all the gods that they worship is worship in this land, right? So let me finish reading this off in this book. It says, I also have a question for you. How many times have anyone witnessed or seen a bunny rabbit lay an egg? And that's another thing, right? And I went into this a couple years ago. That's why the Lord said folly is set in great dignity. When the hell do bunny rabbits lay eggs? Even they teach you in school that a bunny rabbit is a mammal, right? Why the hell? How the hell is a bunny? What the hell do bunny? I never understood that even as a child, right? I was like, what the hell does a egg have to do with a bunny rabbit? And what the hell do eggs and bunny rabbits have to do with the resurrection of Christ? I mean, I don't understand. Where do these people be coming up with this stuff, right? It's all type of fat folly and confusion in America. All these things have nothing to do with our culture and our heritage and our Lord and Savior, right? But like we said, a lot of our people don't even know who our Lord and Savior is. Cause in church they gonna be worshiping Ishtar and they gonna be bowing down to Caesar Borgia, right? They are people in all type of idol worship. You gonna be worshiping Ishtar and Caesar Borgia at the same time in the church tomorrow, right? It says unless it's an animated cartoon or the magic of a Hollywood movie, the answer to that would be never. Why? The answer is quite simple. Real life male and female rabbits produce baby rabbits, not eggs, right? That what the brother say, calling it Resurrection Day doesn't change the pagan origin of Easter. It's wicked. That's right. Right? That's correct. Right? And what does that have to do with the resurrection of Christ anyway?
Nothing.
Right. So it says, so the very next question that should come to mind is where and why is this day promoted as such? And where did it come from? Ishtar, which is pronounced Easter, or in the German Eostri, the goddess of dawn, was the day that commemorated the resurrection of one of their gods that was named Tammuz, right? So can somebody give me the book of Ezekiel chapter 8 and start at verse 12? So now we finna go into this Tammuz, right?
Khan, I got that.
So like, let me get there real quick. Right, because when you look at certain artifacts like Assyrian and Babylonian artifacts, and when you study the origins of it, really Tammuz was like the husband of Ishtar, right? So they were the god and the goddess of fertility, right? And when you look up these wicked artifacts of these other nations and the Assyrian and Babylonian artifacts, we not gonna pull it up on the screen because it's a lot of madness. But they have artifacts with them having intercourse and all type of stuff, man. Right, and that's the madness with these other nations, man. They be having uh all these artifacts and statues where you be having they guys be naked, right? Like when you go to that the Greeks and the Romans, man, they be having them naked statues with grown men and little boys sitting on their lap. Even when you go into the Egyptian hieroglyphs, you got the guys of the Egyptians, they be damn butt naked, right? So
Hey,
this is the type
Salakia, look at what you just said. You said they be having little boys sitting on their laps. What they doing at the mall?
right on Christmas, right? Yeah, for Christmas, right? Right. So it ain't nothing new under the sun, right?
Salakia, Salakia, when the Italian band, before you could join their army back in the day, you used to have to go on sabbatical with your lieutenant, and it was a 2 week adventure where you fish, but they were sleeping with those little boys. You know, that's how you enter the army through pedestry, through grown men having sex with little boys, man. It's evil.
Disgusting, man.
Yeah, I got a quick precept, real quick. This is
Con, go ahead, Ken.
yeah, this is mighty because the same curses recycle. When you look at the curses that we went through in Babylon, Assyria, Media Persia, even in America, it's the same thing, right? Early antebellum South, they was using our boys as in that regard, right? It's even hard to say that, you know what I'm saying? So this is I was going to bring this out. This is Joel 3 and 4. It says, "Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head?" So like it. No, I wanted 3. So like verse 3. "And have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." Right. So this is talking about Israel and how, even sitting on a rabbit's lap or Santa Claus lap, which is going back to uh, what Hezekiah was saying, how there was a lot of pedophilia associated with this day and any other day of our enemy, our oppressor, right? And when you go into early, or not just early antebellum South, but just all through the history, right? In Greek captivity and Roman captivity, they always tried to have our children as a part of their sexual fantasies and whatnot, right? Selling a boy for as a harlot and a girl for wine. That's not what our young boys should understand. And now What are they doing now? They're pushing the gay agenda on our young boys, right? Our young boys are now accepted as being trans, queer, or LGBT, and then the young girls are what? Promoted to be harlots, right? To sell their body. And we saw it last week in Greenville. We see it every night on Glenwood Avenue, where our girls expose their nakedness and become harlots to be accepted. It's no different. I'm gonna yield on that.
God, that's powerful. Like we keep going into it. Ain't nothing new under the sun. This spirit that is running rampant in America is the same spirit that was in all these different kingdoms, right? In Egypt, in Babylon, right? Greece and Rome, right? So let's bring that out in Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 12.
I could read if y'all want me to.
Go ahead, King.
Ezekiel 8 and 12. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, The Lord seeth not. The Lord hath forsaken the earth. You want me to keep going?
Come.
He also said, verse 13, he said also unto me, Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do.
So let's stop right there. So he says, "Thou shalt see greater abominations." Because, like I said, this ain't nothing new. During the time of Ezekiel and the Babylonian captivity, our people was in heavy idol worship as well, right? Worshiping all the gods of the Babylonians, right? So the Lord was giving Ezekiel a vision and seeing all the wickedness that our people was doing during the time of the Babylonian captivity, worshiping these other gods, right? So let's read on.
Verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Weeping for Tammuz, right? That's what we just read in this book, right? And like you said, when you go into the origins of Tammuz, Tammuz was really the husband of Ishtar, right? Because Ishtar was the goddess of fertility, and then you had Tammuz was the god of fertility, right? And you can see that all throughout ancient Assyrian and Babylonian artifacts. Matter of fact, Ephraim, you could pull you could pull it up if you want to. Pull up Tammuz and Ishtar, and they got different artifacts.
Hey man, I was already 10 steps ahead of you. I got you.
Right there they go right there, right? The idols of the Babylonians and the Assyrians, right? You got Ishtar and you got Tammuz, right? And you got other artifacts with them too, but like I said, I don't even want to show it on on live where they they kind
Oh
of
yeah,
getting
they
it
got some
in.
crazy ones.
Yeah, I mean it's disgusting, man.
I mean, she is the fertility goddess,
Right,
Ishtar.
right. Do they got some more pictures?
Hey, hey, Salakia, can you go into that two Babylons and pull up a Semrames's image real quick?
Con.
Yeah, pull up the Semrames's.
Where I wonder where
Or you could just let Shalak read some of that description that he got, but find an image of Semrames's real quick. Like, so you could go into what Yashawan was talking about a little while ago with them eggs.
in Babylon, right? Tammuz.
And also, if you got a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, you could go into the definition of Ishtar, and it could go in. It also breaks down what Yahshua was saying. Instead of using the imagery, you could kind of get a little backdrop on the things that those particular heathens was doing.
See, how about this? Something to look at until I find it.
Yeah, Con.
Con, I got my Bible dictionary. Let me see.
Yeah, hey Ephraim, if you could for the people, it should be a an image of Semiramis or Mithra, right? It's the same person, but you should see the fertility side of with the eggs.
Am I spelling that right? Semiramis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. Let me see. I don't really see too much unless they starting to clear the internet of that. But here's one with a cross on it. That's for Tammuz.
Hmm
Let's see. Hmm. I wonder if that's her right there on the left of this picture.
That is, yeah, that is. But put it, that's actually going into. It's the same person as Stade, right there. That one right there. You see it, the gold on the left, right there,
This one.
with the eggs. Yeah, there you go. See if you could blow that up while Yashwan goes into that Zondervan compact. Yeah, you see that? So they go your eggs right there.
Right.
Disgusting.
Right. And you see that all they guys of the heathens always got to be naked for some reason.
Mhm.
I mean, these other nations are some freaks, man.
Right, they ain't had clothes back then, brother.
Right. So
I
I'm gonna
guess
bring.
I guess we was the only ones walking around with clothes on.
Right.
Apparently.
Hey, you see that? That's why these other nations, our people had to stop following after their ways and follow after our ways. Hey, the Lord said
Hmm
we got to cover up our nakedness, man. But I guess these other nations ain't get the message.
Right.
So let me bring this out. This is in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
hmm
All right, so this is Ishtar, a Semitic goddess worshipped in Phoenicia, Canaan, Assyria, and Babylonia. Her name is spelled in various ways. You got Ashtoreth, Ashtardi, and in the Amarna letters, Ishtar and Babylonian. It says the name and cult of the goddess were derived from Babylonia, where she was the goddess of love and war. Prostitution was
Mm.
practiced in her name by bands of men and women.
See that they was turning tricks. You know, all levels of homosexuality, like the brother was bringing into in them gymnasiums.
Right.
Hey, Salakia, I was just thinking about this as well. When we see our women, they adopt the spirit
mm.
because what are they doing? They out there half naked, and that's the
Right.
spirit of a deity they want to adopt. They want to be out there. We was out there teaching one of them times, and we just seen some of the worst outfits for our sisters to be in.
Mm-mm-mm.
And when you think about the just the mindset that our sisters have, not being chaste, not being covered up, it's just like these women are our women, right? They're taking on the spirit of these pagan deities by not having clothes on and they're going into these places of congregation called the club.
Right, Salakia, and that's the modern day strip club. What is that? The worshiping of woman.
Uh,
You throwing all your money and all your earnings at females. That's
Hard
on
earned,
top.
or should
That's
be
on
hard earned.
right. That's on top of a pole. Right.
they paying tithes to the woman.
Damn.
Right. That's what it is. Tithes and offerings to you making that woman a god. Right.
They giving 40%.
People be spending their rent money going to the strip club. Right. These females be on OnlyFans. Right. Brothers be spending all their money on OnlyFans. I mean, this is modern day prostitution, like the brother said. Right. Goes back into the idol worshiping of Ishtar and the gods and the goddesses of these other nations. Right?
Hey, Salathia, for the brother that just put that Exodus 23 and 13, hey, the Water King, much appreciated. You know, we have definitely the understanding of making mentions of these other deities, these false gods' names, but for the sake of edification for the nation of those that know and don't know, and we have to bring it out in the last days, brother. So may the Most High have mercy and grace upon us. The water for your precept, King. All right, but we do
Yeah.
understand that scripture as well, brother.
Yeah, most definitely. Like we said, we're not worshiping these other idols to give them praise, right? But like the brother said, for edification's sake, we have to go into these things for our people to understand what they're really doing when they celebrate these other holidays, right?
Salakia. Hey, Ephraim, you got your Strong's Concordance real quick?
What you need?
Can you bring up Strong's 2142? Because that's a good point. And when we make mention, right? The Hebrew word is zakar, right? Bring it up into the Hebrew real quick. This is and I'm going to bring out that
You want me
scripture.
to just pull it up from here?
Where you at? Hold on.
From
Exodus 23:13. We're going to bring it out because, of course, we don't want to make mention of the other gods, right? But what does it mean to make mention,
right,
versus edification?
Strong's 2142. Zaher.
All right. So you see, it says to remember, remembrance, right? To recall, right? The word zakar or zachar, right? Now look at the Strong's Concordance. It says a primitive root also as a demonstrative, properly to mark, to recognize, right? To recognize or to remember, or make implication or to mention, right? It goes into a form of worship or recognition or acknowledging another deity. It's not so much as saying, don't say the other names X, Y, and Z. Now, of course, for the purpose of edification, you do say, or you do you will voice the names, but it's not in the observation spirit. We're not saying it, right? That's the spirit behind this law, right? Exodus 23 and 13. I'm gonna read it again. And all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, meaning to have to be able to to recognize what's going on, right? A little bit of this comes into being knowledgeable and sincere on what we're doing, right? Be circumspect, right? And make no mention of the name of other gods. Again, that word mention is about acknowledging and like big up of somebody, right? Like we acknowledge brothers for coming on class. We acknowledge brothers for coming around. We call their name up. It's a way of reverencing, right? It's a way of bigging up that person, right? So we're not using that. We're not saying these names. We're actually warning the people. Ezekiel 33, right? Ezekiel 3, and a plethora of other scriptures to cry aloud, spare not. We're actually making mention of them, of these gods or these other names. So when you hear them and see them, you can make note, right? You can make note of that. I'm gonna yield on that, but that's ultimately what we want to go into.
Salaki, that's almost like the other day with that Edomite trying to put that burden on our brother, about the lust burden. Right? That's
Yep.
literally the same thing. Like, how are we supposed to know that our people are in sin if we can't see them?
Right. And
But
even say the names, right? And you'll get like resemblance names like Ishtar, Ashtar, Asher, things like that. Um if I'm out and about because I know these names, right, for the sake of education, right? Obadiah used to go into these to these breakdowns and he would mention names for the sake of edification, and he would bring this law out. And so I'm glad the brother brought that out. The water for that, Malak Dawada, right, for bringing that scripture out, and just so the audience and the people that's coming in understands, the only reason we're saying this is not to big up those deities, right? It's to make mention of them, or in the regard of warning our people the names that may come across.
right, Khan, and like we said, when you read all throughout the scriptures, it mentions the names of different deities, right? Even you had that situation with Christ, and the Pharisees tried to accuse him, right? And Christ said, "How can I, through Beelzebub, cast out devils?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got all the men of the Bible that mention the names of these other gods, right? Just because you say the name of another god, that's not what it's talking about. Like the brother went into, we not worshiping these other gods or praising their name. Right? We bring these things out for edification's sake, right? But again, yeah, the water to the brother for bringing that out, so we could go into the understanding of what that actually mean, right? But let's finish reading this off in the Compact Bible Dictionary about Ishtar, right? So it says prostitution was practiced in her name by bands of men and women. In Assyria, the warlike side of the goddess was stressed. In Canaan, her warlike attributes were dropped, and she became a moon goddess and the consort of Baal. The Philistines worshipped her and built a temple for her at Ashkelon. As early as the times of Judges, her cult had spread to the Hebrews, right? It says Solomon supported her worship, First Kings 11 and 5, 2 Kings 23 and 13. And the Hebrew women in Jeremiah's day gave her a high place in their worship, right? So that's going into the description of Ishtar when you go into the Bible dictionary, right?
Right. Can we get a couple of those real quick? Let's go into that. Let's get Jeremiah. Grab Jeremiah 7. What's that? 7
And
and
18, yeah,
18.
I had that written down already.
You
Yeah, I was
going
gonna
into
go into
that?
that
All right. Yeah. We'll
con
save it. We'll save it then. We'll save it.
con. But let's go back to that and finish that off in Ezekiel, right? So what you see now is the images of where you get that the eggs come from, right? Like the brother Yahshua was saying, the Semiramis, and then you got Ishtar, right? So who had that Shalak? When you stop at verse 14, right? In
For
that
what?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 8.
Con. All right, let's read down to verse 18, Baba Kashar.
Hey, Staladi, can you read that 14th verse again? I just want to make a quick point. Yeah.
I'm at this is Ezekiel 8, chapter 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Hey, that's deep when you look at the where we at. You know, we know this is the land of the north, right? But what do you see all in the churches? Women weeping for who? On the crosses, right? They weeping for the false image of the Messiah, right? So this is very deep when you go into this. So this is very powerful that the brother is bringing out, because that's what you see. You see our women that have been weeping for a false deity and a false representation of the Messiah, which in return turned out men effeminate, all in the churches.
God.
You know?
Right. Yeah, you got Ephraim. He always pulling up these crazy skits on the screen.
And you know, that's so the people could see, man. That's, you know, that's
Right.
folly.
And even when you go into the Virgin Mary, right?
Hmm.
The Virgin Mary, that also goes back to woman worship, and
Con.
back to the father of all pagan religions, which is Nimrod, who was a descendant of Tammuz, right? So even the understanding of the Virgin Mary, and then who runs the Black Church, right? You got the Catholic Church is ran by the Virgin Mary, but them Black churches is ran by, Sister such and such, the prophetess, right? So, she got two last names, her and her husband's last name, strong black-willed women. They
Yeah.
they run the churches, and they run the and all that. And even the men is effeminized. So all this goes back to a feminine masculinity. I just want to bring this out real quick, because I just want to show in the law, right? Numbers, I think 27:16, who's supposed to be running your organizations when it comes to the Most High, right?
Hmm.
This is the law, right? Number 27:16. Let Yahweh, right? Let Yahweh, the power of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation,
Hmm.
right? Which may go out before them, which may go in before them, right? Meaning to inquire the Lord, right? You go out before them is to inquire with the Most High, to be that intercessor, right, between um the people, the Most High, right? You always see men, whether it was Moses, Joshua, Yahushua himself, King David, right? They were the even King Solomon, right? That was the idea of kingship, right? Was to have a mediator between the people, the Most High God, right? Which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in. And even in Salaki, even when you go into war, right? You didn't see the woman lead the man in the war, right? So even our spiritual warfare should be led by austere men, right? Men that are trained for battle, trained for spiritual and physical combat, right? It says, I'm gonna read verse 17, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out. Keyword, lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of Yahweh be not as sheep which have no shepherd, right? So
Mm.
yeah, that's the heavy hitter, right? So looking at this, and then looking at tomorrow, you're gonna have a woman out there that has set the whole. They're gonna have a play, a skit, especially in the Black churches. Every Sunday they got a skit. They got some dancers. They got some
Con.
effeminate energy. The man is shaved up. The man got his suit. He really feminine. He worried about his looks, and he got the eyebrows arched, and then the women is leading everything, right? And then when you go into the Catholic Church, you have the woman worship as in general, right? That's right, the Jezebel spirit, right, where it's nothing but women leadership, and this is why our men got to come out of this cult and come back and be men again. Gird up your loins, right? That's a law according to the commandments. That's a law by the Most High God. I'm gonna yield on that.
Kind powerful points. So let's finish that off in Ezekiel.
Con. This is verse 15 right here. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. Verse 16. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose.
Right. So
Therefore,
that's the same thing, Salah. So that's the same thing that's gonna be going on tomorrow, right? That's why the Lord said, "Is this a light thing?" That's the Lord. Hey, the Lord showing Ezekiel this vision. He like, are you seeing this? Like, are you seeing what's going on? Right. So Ezekiel was saying all this madness, this idol worshiping of our people, and that's like the same thing we see in the day. It's like the Lord put it in our spirit to be like, wait a minute, something not right about this, right? When you see, like I said, you see grown men with pink outfits, right? Little kids running around doing damn scavenger hunts where they looking for eggs, right? Grown men in bunny costumes. It's like, wait a minute, some not right about this, right? How is this helping our community? How is this helping our children, right? What are we teaching our people by doing this, right? So let's read that last verse, verse 18.
Con. Verse 18. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
Right, and that's why our people are destroyed today. That's why the Lord is bringing all this fury upon our people because we continue to break His commandments and worship other gods. That's why we getting shot down in the streets. Our people killing each other, selling drugs to each other. Right. That's why we went into slavery on slave ships.
Salakia.
Right. So like, yeah. So that's why our people are at the bottom of society. Right. That's why a woman being kidnapped, being raped, sex trafficked. Right. And that's why the Lord not hearing them. Right. Because our people don't understand, and this is why we have to go into this information. Because the first thing that our people want to do when something bad happen or when they going through trials and tribulations, they want to say, "Oh God, help me. Oh Jesus, please save me." But wait a minute, all year long you was worshiping other gods, right? You was worshiping Ishtar and Tammuz, Nimrod, all these different gods all year round. But when you down on your last leg, then you want to cry to the Lord. Oh God, please save me. The Lord is not hearing that, right? That's why the Lord said in the book of Joshua, He said, "Look, when you going through all these trials and tribulations, go cry to all the other gods that you was worshiping." He said, "Look, don't come to me, right?" So next time something bad happened to you, the Lord said, "Why don't you go cry to Ishtar and see if she go save you, right? Why don't you go cry to all the gods of the other nations and see if they can deliver you, right?" So what you had, Amat?
I was, and I wanted to know if you touched on Deuteronomy 32:8.
La.
Okay, Khan. Are you still able to hear me?
Con, yeah, go ahead and bring it out, King.
Okay, Khan. I wanted to bring this out in the NLT. When the Most High assigned nation, He divided the human race. He established the boundary of the people according to the number in His heavenly court. 39. For the people of Israel belongs to the Lord. Well, belongs to Yahweh. Jacob is His special possession. You want to break? Or you want to say what I have?
Con, yeah, go into it, King.
Okay. This right here is what he's getting into. The Most High already called us as people and was telling us, you know what I'm saying, these other nations, they got what they got. I gave them their gods, I gave them their lands. You are my portion. That means we're not supposed to go into these holidays that they celebrate. We're not supposed to fall away from Him. And because we do go into these holidays and we want to follow other nations, this is why He brings His fury down on us. Because he don't punish just the person, He punishes the whole nation. regardless of how much good we do, the rest of the nation keep going off and running after other guys, we're going to continue to be punished. I yield.
Khan, that's a powerful point, right? That's what we just bringing out in Ezekiel chapter 8, right?
Khan, that's what
you know, when the Lord said that's why he brought his fury upon the nation of Israel, right? Because somebody, like I said, that's why the Lord, all throughout the different captivities we went through, the Lord always put the spirit on certain men that prophesy to his people, right? To get them to understanding that the ways that we have been following is not correct in the eyes of the Lord. Because if we don't teach our people about all these pagan gods and all these pagan holidays that they celebrate, how they go know? The average Negro not reading no book. The average Negro not doing no research. The average Negro not looking up no information. So if we don't take time out our lives and time out our days to look this stuff up and research and read books, then our people just gonna be destroyed altogether. Ain't nobody gonna teach our people. The white man not gonna teach you that that celebrating Easter and Christmas is wrong, right? So that's why we have to do it, right? That's why the Lord said, "Who go stand up for me against the evildoers?" Right? Who go rise up for me against the workers of iniquity? Right? Matter of fact, let me get this real quick in Jeremiah. All right, let me get this in Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, verse 4. It says, "Howbeit I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, Oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate." Right? So that's what the Lord did all throughout time, right? What did Isaiah do? He had to go out there and teach our people that worshiping idols was wrong, and that the Lord was going to bring judgments and punishments to the nation of Israel for worshiping other gods, right? That's what you read about in the book of Isaiah, the book of Jeremiah, the book of Ezekiel, right? Verse 5, it says, "But they hearken not," right? So, hey, like we said, many is called, but few is chosen, right? So we can bring out this information, but it's only a certain amount of our people that's actually going to receive this message, right? You think these Negroes want to stop celebrating Christmas and Easter, right? This nigga said I can't eat pork no more. Right? This nigga said I can't celebrate Easter no more. Nigga, I've been celebrating Easter since I was born. What you talking about? Right? Ain't nothing happened to me yet. He talking about the Lord go judge me. The Lord ain't judge me. Right? So we have to come out here and let our people know, because whether they hear or forbear, when that true day of judgment come, they can't say we ain't warned them. Right? It says, but they hearken not, nor incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense unto other gods. Right? And this is what our people love to do, burn incense to these other gods that you see on the screen. Right? So let me go back into this book real quick. And can somebody give me Jeremiah 7 and 17? And Ephraim, can you give me Jeremiah 44 and 17?
I got Jeremiah 7:17.
Okay, so let me read this real quick. It says, "Modern day honor and the worshiping of Easter originated from the sunrise pagan worship and the festival honoring Ishtar." Right? It says the early pagan practices and beliefs about Ishtar and the resurrection prepared the world for the religious apostasy which will occur after the time of Christ. The pagans believed in a god that was resurrected each spring on Easter, a day which was dedicated to Ishtar, the mother goddess. She was also called the Queen of Heaven, right? So that was one of the titles that Ishtar had was been the Queen of Heaven, right? Was been the Queen of Heaven, right?
Can you reread that one more time?
Can you repeat that one more
word.
time? I just
It's a little back, Salakia, but I
it's
heard
a
a
little
word.
back,
My
Salakia, but I heard a word.
so
So like you going in and out. Can you got a echo?
Salakia,
You got a echo?
I was saying,
Salakia, I was
can you
saying.
repeat that?
Con. It says the pagans believed in a God that was resurrected each spring on Easter, a day which was dedicated to Ishtar, the mother goddess. She was also called the Queen of Heaven. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, Salakia. I'm not sure if I'm still echoing, but
No,
when
you
it
sound
said,
like you good now.
okay, I was saying it was resurrected each Easter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did we call, when you awoke black, you don't call it Easter, right? Growing up, we called it Resurrection Sunday.
Right.
So a lot of these deities that we're talking about it's not talking about Yahweh, right? Knowing that a lot of the understanding of the Christian religion, Christianity, it's a little bit of pagan religion mixed with the Bible, right?
Right.
Pagan religion mixed with the Bible. When you want to call it the Nicolaitan doctrine, right? That's what it is, right? Nicholas decided to mix paganism with the Bible, and Constantine and all these early Christianity founders found a way to mix that doctrine together. But I just found it interesting that it said resurrection. So when you look at Christmas, when you look at Mother's Day, Easter, these are pagan religions that go back to the Roman pagan deities. Of course, that goes back to Greece, that goes back to Babylon, and ultimately to the Tammuz, Ravens, and Ishtar. Now you understand why they call it Resurrection Sunday. They resurrecting a damn pagan deity.
Right. That's right.
I'm gonna yield on that. That's interesting when you said that word resurrected. Like that's
Con. Right. So who got that in Jeremiah chapter 7, right? Because like we just read, it said Ishtar also had the title as being the Queen of Heaven.
Hey, Salaki, it sounded kind of funky.
Yeah, somebody got to mute their mic.
Yeah, that's coming from Shalak. I keep muting it, but I don't know. I think it's Shalak. Something's happening on that side.
Con. All right. So can somebody else give me that then? That Jeremiah or matter of fact, I'll just bring it out real quick.
I got it right here. Which one you want? Jeremiah 44 or
No,
7?
you hold on to that and I'll get 7. I'm gonna get 7 real quick, right? Right. So this the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at verse 17, right? Because like we said, this ain't nothing new. All these things are mentioned in the scriptures, right? That's how you know this Bible is a true historical reference. Because all these things that we read about in world history today was already mentioned in the scriptures, right? So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, and verse 17. It says, "Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem?" Right? So the Lord is saying the same thing to Jeremiah that he was saying to Ezekiel, right? During the Babylonian captivity, right? The Lord was trying to show them the idol and the pagan worship that our people was into, right? Verse 18, it says, "The children gather wood and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven," right? And what we just read about Ishtar, Ishtar was known as the Queen of Heaven. And you had other deities that had that name as well, like Nimrod's mother. Nimrod's mother was also known as the Queen of Heaven, right? So these people are mentioned in the scriptures, right? Ishtar is in the scriptures, right? The queen of heaven, right? It says, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger, right? So our people was always into worshiping and making sacrifices to other gods, right? That's what they're gonna be doing tomorrow. They're gonna be making cakes, right, for Easter, right? They're gonna be making pork chops, fried chicken, mac and cheese with the collard greens,
Precept.
right? The cornbread. They gonna be making sacrifices to these other gods, the Queen of Heaven, right? So read what you got, Ephraim, in Jeremiah 44.
I think Imok wanted to bring out a precept real quick.
Let's bring this out real quick. I just want verse 17.
Okay. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, verse 17. But we will certainly bring this up. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil.
Right, you see the wickedness, the wicked mind state of our people. Like I said, ain't nothing new under the sun. All throughout the Bible, you read about, especially in the book of Jeremiah, you read about the Queen of Heaven, right? And it said that, and were will and saw no evil. Our people don't think what they doing is evil, right? You think our people think it's evil to celebrate Easter tomorrow, right? They gonna be eating pork chops. They gonna have pork chops on the grill, right? They gonna be drinking Hennessy. They gonna be passing the blunt in rotation, right? Our people gonna go. Yeah, they gonna be going to church tomorrow morning, and then that afternoon they gonna be passing the blunt around, right?
You forgot the honey glazed ham in the oven.
Right. They gonna be having a smoke session, right, before they had that pork dinner, right? But our people claim they believe in God and they have faith in Jesus, right? But they're gonna be doing everything that's contrary to these scriptures.
Hey, don't forget the seafood boils too.
Right. Hey, Salakia, when you think about it as well, on Passover, what do we eat? Lamb.
Right, unleavened bread.
And unleavened bread. On Easter, they eat ham and cakes with leaven in it. Nothing about it is the Passover. They don't even bring in, when your aunt and they say they keep the Passover at church, we keep the Passover and it extends a week. You know what I'm saying? They keep their version of the Passover in one Sunday dinner, and they exactly right. You see the screen here where they get done doing all that shouting, and they put that pork in their system. They put them cakes to the Queen of Heaven with leaven in it. It's like Yahshua said, right? It's contrary to what the scriptures tell you how to keep the Passover. So when you out there and you get them questions from your family members, and they say, "Oh yeah, we keep Passover as well." Well, show them how to properly keep the Passover.
No herbs.
Right. They're gonna be eating that bitter pork. That's what they're gonna be doing. But what you had, King Amok?
Did you touch on Zechariah on 13:2? Zechariah chapter 13, verse 2. And it shall come to pass that in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of all the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. Right there goes into, it shows you again what you've been reiterating all class. These false idols and these idols that people are worshiping is a sin. It's blasphemous. If idols were a good thing, he would not erase idols from this world.
Right. And that's powerful because, like I said, idol worship is at an all-time high in the world that we live in today. You literally have every single idol that was worshipped by all these different nations and kingdoms all throughout time is worshipped at the same time in this country, right? When you go to different cities like Vegas and DC, LA, New York, you go see different statues of different gods that was worshipped by the Babylonians, right? The Greeks, the Romans, the Assyrians, right? The Egyptians, right? They literally have different idols in all these cities in America, right?
In Las Vegas, from what I've never been to Vegas. I was trying to go, but I don't know if I want to go anymore. But they have, in one spot, they have the Empire State Building, they have the Eiffel Tower, they have Lady Liberty, they have all of these idols right there in one evil location.
Hey, come right in front of the White House. They have the statues, the bronze statue of an old naked white man holding a naked young boy.
Damn.
Between his legs. You didn't see that last time we went out there?
I wasn't even trying to look for it.
It's wickedness.
This whole place is finished.
Right. So let me finish this real quick in this I got a little bit left in this book, right? Let me find it real quick.
Hey, while he grabbed that, can I grab a couple real quick, Yashwan? And then you could if somebody real quick going into what we've been going into the whole time as well. Let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 20. Somebody else, if you can grab 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33. And if another brother can grab Revelations chapter 2 verse 20.
I got 10 and 20.
All right, go ahead.
All right, I'll grab 14.
Because this spirit, going into what we're going into in the spirit, you look at the churches, you look at the scriptures in Ezekiel about the women weeping for Tammuz, you go into all of these deities, you see that the woman is being worshipped today just like the women of old. It's just in a different format. You know what I'm saying? So even with the evangelical women and prophetess and apostolites and all that, right? But go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
Right. These Gentile nations, all of these false heathenistic customs, right? Going into that. Somebody grab Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 real quick. Right? Because all of these things, these customs, these practices, and these false worships are things we wasn't supposed to learn, but we were supposed to keep our focus on the word of the Lord the whole time. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 real quick.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
That's it on that. That's it on that. Salati. It says, learn not the ways of the heathen, right? We wasn't supposed to learn none of these heathenistic customs at all. We were supposed to keep our ears and our eyes on the word of the Lord. We were supposed to meditate therein, not to pass down these false customs to our children. Like the brother Ryan was talking about, he probably is the only one in the mall not trying to go see the bunny. You know what I'm saying? But you got everybody over there, every one of these seasons that come around, they got our kids going right up to, defile themselves with heathenistic customs. But go ahead on that. First Corinthians.
Con, they sacrifice to devils.
Yeah, they sacrifice to devils, all of the meat offerings, all of these things, right? We eating lamb for the Passover. We remembering the Exodus. We remembering, our Lord. We remembering the Hamashiach Yahawah. So these are the things we're supposed to be focused on during these times. Eating the unleavened bread. You know what I'm saying? Staying away from all of the other things, that people, these dainty meats, all of the stuff we can't eat and partake in during this time, because listen, when famine comes, when all of these destructions hit, you're not going to be able to go and get all these different cakes any damn way. But go ahead.
And not to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with.
Mm-hmm.
21. Ye cannot drink up, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye could not be partakers of the Lord's table and of the devil and of the table of devils.
Right. We can't sit up here and keep the Passover, eat the lamb one day, and then, on the next week we sitting up here, got the potato salad and the ham chops and and all of these different glazed, dainty meats, and abominations that the world love to eat during these days, man. The boiled eggs and all that stuff. You know, we ain't supposed to have these customs, Israel. All right. Let me get 1 Corinthians 14:33.
Con right here.
Mm-hmm.
1 Corinthians 14:33. For
Mm-hmm.
God is not the author of confusion, but of
Right, the
peace.
Lord, the Most High, our power, man, from the heavens is not the author of confusion. He's of peace, a perfect balance. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we try to bring to the nation in the last days, not confusion. We trying to actually clean your brain. You understand? Your brain is very dirty. We're trying to wash it for you this day. Go ahead.
But of peace, as in all
Hmm.
churches of the saints.
Hmm.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, come.
Con. Verse 34. Let your women keep silence in the churches.
Right, and that's no
For
disrespect. That's no disrespect to the women of the world. Hey, listen, the Lord said keep silence in the churches because, like the office, the mighty captain Ron brought out, that is the service of men. You understand? To take charge of, the leading of God's temple. Go ahead.
Con. For it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they
Hmm.
are commanded to be under obedience, as
Man, they
also
can.
saith the law.
Hey, they commanded to be under obedience, and they say, you know what? Well, Jesus came so I could speak. Jesus said there's no difference between men and women, right? Let me get that Revelations chapter 2, verse 20.
Con.
Right. This is all red letter right here, right?
Con.
All right.
Revelation 2, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee,
Hey,
because
listen
thou
up, man. The
suffer.
Lord, hey, listen up, man. Jesus got a few things against you in red letter right here, okay? Because he told you over here through Paul's letters to leave it alone. Don't even try to teach the men. Don't try to set up yourself in these churches. I don't care, what's going on. If your husband died, put another man in that position. You don't set yourself up as the prophetess to lead the congregation. Go ahead.
Con. I have a few things against thee, because thou
Mm-hmm.
sufferest that woman Jezebel, which
Mm-hmm.
calleth herself a prophetess, to
Mm-hmm.
teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication and to
Mm-hmm.
eat things sacrificed unto idols.
And to eat things sacrificed unto idols. And that's what you're going to see in many of these churches tomorrow. You're going to see women up there hooping and hollering, you
Con.
understand, passing the plates around and eating what? Things sacrificed to devils, idol worship. That's all you're going to see. And that's what our people are, that's look at this. That's madness right there. We love folly and madness, man. Let me get the book of Hosea chapter 5, verse 15. I'll shut down.
Khan. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Hosea 5:15. I will go
Mm-hmm.
and return to my place till they
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge their offense and seek
And
my
that's all I
face.
want on that, right? The Lord said he's going to go and return to his place until you acknowledge your sins, Israel. And those that don't know you, Israel, in the last days, man, you have to start acknowledging your offenses and you have to turn away from these devils and these abominations and all of these idols that you're secretly worshiping in these temples. And I yield.
Con, did somebody get Jeremiah 10 for you?
Khan, King. Went through it pretty swift, quick.
Con. All right. We gonna go back to this book real quick, and I'm gonna finish this off. All right, so going back to the holiday hustle, going into the origins of Easter, right? It says she was also called the Queen of Heaven, and that's talking about Ishtar, and supposedly interceded with the gods on behalf of humankind. This precise belief has been applied to Mary by the Roman Catholic Church. You see that? By the Roman Catholic Church, right? So that's how you know this stuff is not they're not telling our people the truth, right? In these churches, right? Instead of teaching you God's high holy days that they saying is done away with, they teach you all the pagan customs of the other nations, right? It says, and has no basis or relevance to the Bible whatsoever. Easter did not originate for the sole purpose of celebrating Christ, but rather for the purpose of worshiping the mother goddess Ishtar, because worshippers of Ishtar presented her with two fertility symbols, eggs and rabbits. These became part of the Christian Easter celebration. Because sunrise at the beginning of spring was the holiest day in the Mithraic calendar, next to December 25th, right? And that's the day that the church tell you that Christ was born on December 25th. When that's not in the, that's not the truth neither. You don't find that in the scriptures where it say that Christ was born during the wintertime, right? It says the practice of Easter sunrise services continue into Christianity, right? So could somebody give me Amos chapter 5:23? It says the act of coloring eggs is tied to the idea of rebirth and resurrection, while egg decorating kits offer adults and kids a vibrant and enthused means of decorating today. But do anyone truly question or ask their pastor in church, what and where did this tradition come from? And dare you ask, can't they show you where it's located in the Bible, right? So like we was going into, right? All these things you can't find nowhere in the scriptures about Easter being the celebration and the resurrection of Christ, right? Bunny rabbits laying eggs and decorations of eggs and all this type of madness, right? So who got that in Amos?
I got a
Khan, I
precept for
got it.
you. I got
Uh,
a precept for you, King. Real quick.
Con.
Yeah, this is first Samuel chapter 7 and verse 3 reads, and Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, if ye do return unto Yahweh with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtoreth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto Yahweh, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines.
You see that? That's powerful. Hey, Ifa, can you go into that word Ashtaroth?
Most thought.
Strong's H 6252. Ashtaroth Kernaim. Ashtaroth Kernaim.
Can you read that description?
It says Astaroth or Astaroth equals star, a false goddess in the Canaanite religion, usually related to a fertility cult.
Right, and that's what we would just read out the Compact Bible Dictionary, right? Ashtaroth, that's just another name for what they call Ishtar, right? So read what they say the Strong's definition.
Yeah, it says the name of a Sidonian deity and of a place east of the Jordan. That's about it.
Right. So like we were saying, going back to the false goddess of the Canaanites, because Ishtar was worshipped by different nations, right? Like we read in the Compact Bible Dictionary, right? She was a Canaanite goddess, right? Phoenician, right? Babylonian, Assyrian, right?
She sounds like she being passed around by all the religions.
Right. Hey, that's what she is. She's a whore, the goddess
There
of
you go.
prostitution, right? So it ain't nothing new. Like we keep saying, it ain't nothing new under the sun. That same spirit is going on,
Hey,
especially among our people today, right?
Salakia, isn't the goddess what the strippers where they would dance around the wooden pole and naked?
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, or Salakia.
Right. Like I said, that goes into the modern day. You got modern day strip clubs, right? Goes back to the worship of Ishtar, right? The goddess of prostitution. All that is just modern day prostitution, right? The strip clubs, right? These OnlyFans, right? So who had that in Amos chapter 5? Can you start at verse 21 for me? Baba
Khan.
Kashar?
Got you.
Khan.
Amos 5:21. I hate, I despise your feast days, and will
Right.
not in your solemn assemblies.
Right. So the Lord said he hate and despise these modern day feast days that we dedicate to these other pagan deities, right? Can you read down to verse 23 for me, King?
Con. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Nor will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
Right, because in the church tomorrow, our people gonna be making sacrifices to the Lord. Where they think that's what they gonna be doing, right? They gonna be sacrificing cakes, right? Sacrificing pork, right? And like the brothers was going into, this is the time of the Passover, right? You're not even supposed to have no leavening in your household. But our people gonna be filled with leaven. They gonna be filled with that pork and the cornbread and the fried chicken, the hot sauce, the mac and cheese, right? They gonna be filled with that weed, that Hennessy, right? So the Lord said He not accepting those sacrifices, right? So let's read down to 23. Verse 23.
Oh, my bad, Salakia. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols.
Right. So that's it on that. Because like I said, in the church tomorrow, our people gonna be singing gospel music, right? Singing songs to Jesus, right? Praising the Lord, right? But the Lord is not hearing the songs of our people, right? Because our people going to worshiping the other gods. And when you try to teach our people that what they doing is wrong, then they want to get mad at us, right? And then we question them on it and ask them to go into the Bible and show us where you see the celebration of Easter and all these pagan holidays, then they can't go into the Bible and show it to you.
Precept.
Right? Go ahead, bring that out, King.
This is a precept to show where following these idols will bring you. This is Zechariah 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass, all the land, say the Lord, 2 parts shall fell and die, but the third shall be left therein.
Right, right. So like we was going into, when you read the scriptures, it was some of our forefathers that rather die and give up their life than worship these other gods. But our people today, they do it willingly because they've been brainwashed and conditioned into thinking that the worshiping of these other gods is okay, right? And that's a curse that the Lord put upon us, right? Let me get this in Jeremiah real quick, and we all familiar with this scripture, right? Jeremiah 17 and 4. It says, "And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee," right? So that's why our people cleave into all these different religions. Our people cleave to worshiping all these other gods and celebrating all these other holidays because we've been discontinued from our true heritage, right? To the point where it's so hard, even though we have all the evidence, we have all the information, we have all the history, all the artifacts to prove to our people that what we saying is true. It's still hard to break that stronghold because they've been conditioned for so long, right? In the traditions of men, they've been brainwashed for so long, right? That we could go into the Bible and prove to you how you worshiping idols, but they still don't want to hear it. They don't understand it because our people have been discontinued from their heritage, right? And I will call Salah. It says, "And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not." So how do you serve your enemies? Not only by working for them in captivity and slavery, but you serve your enemies when you worship their gods, right? You serve your enemies when you go and buy damn gifts on Christmas and put a damn a tree in your house, right? Right? That's how you serve your enemies, because as long as we in sin, the Lord give our enemies the power to rule over us, right? As long as we worshiping their gods, the Lord go allow them to rule over us, right? What you had, King?
I got that precept Habakkuk 2 and 18. Habakkuk 2 and 18. What profiteth graven image? Maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image, and the teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein to make dumb idols.
Right, to make dumb idols. What is Ishtar? A dumb idol. Right? What is Tammuz? A dumb idol. Right? The same thing our people gonna be worshiping tomorrow. Right? Like we keep going into. How are all these false gods gonna deliver our people in the day of destruction? Right? If a Negro gets shot, the first thing he gonna say is, "God, please don't let me die." But wait a minute, you was just worshiping Ishtar. You was just worshiping Nimrod. You was just worshiping Tammuz. But why is the first person you call on is the Most High God, right? That's why the Lord said, "Look, I ain't gonna deliver you." The Lord said, "Go and cry to all these other guys when you get shot down in the street, right? When the police pull you over, right? The judge give you life in prison." He said, "Go pray to these other guys, see if they go deliver you."
Hey, Salakia.
So I was gonna grab the quick. It's a quick precept.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is John chapter 7, 49. But this people who know of not the law are cursed. It just goes to show, you know what I'm saying, why we're cursed, because we don't know the law. Well, they don't know the law. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we teach.
Hey, Salakia, can you hear me, fam?
You kind of choppy.
You might have to leave and come back. All right?
Damn, his shit sound like his computer's about to explode.
Yeah, he in the Matrix.
But did somebody else have something?
Yeah, I got.
Salakia.
Also, like Hezekiah, you had something, King?
Yeah, I got one right here. This Jonah is going to be Jonah. They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. Just a little quick one.
Right? That's going into like we were saying. Yeah, go ahead, King.
So how when we looked into the definition of Ashtaroth and it said a star. Well, right here in Amos 5:26, but ye have borne the tabernacle of your Malak and Chiyun, your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts.
You want to go into that?
Yeah, so I mean, just as in the sense of how it says, within the definition of Ashtaroth, that's the star, the mother, the queen of heaven. And then here you see that same star of your God, which is a lowercase g. So it's implying that it's a different deity outside of Yahweh.
Right, yeah. So when you go into that star, that might not. Sometimes they don't go into an actual star. It's talking about,
right,
like you said, certain deities and stuff, right? So that's all I had on that. Unless somebody else want to bring something up, but if not, we could close it up.
Hey, Salakia, can you hear me, fam?
You still kind of choppy.
Okay, I yield then.
No, I mean you sound like it's better than it was before, but
yeah, bring it out.
Just call your precept. Somebody can read it.
I really didn't have no precept, man. All the precepts that I had already been brought out. But I was just gonna say, when I lived up north in Baltimore, some of the cats from New York might know this too. But like during this time of the year, the Greeks that we lived around, they would always sacrifice a pig and cook it in the backyard. And then a lot of the Germans that was around us in that area, they would always have like a pagan ritual that they would do during this time of the year.
Dang, he said the Greece was sacrificing pigs. Damn.
Yeah, it was a ritual for them. I think they were Greek Orthodox. I'm not sure what their religion was, but I lived in a neighborhood called Greektown up in Baltimore, and it was their custom or their ritual for them to they would cook a whole pig in the backyard, and they would have it kind of rotating, I guess rotisserie style in the backyard. And as you walk through the alleyways, you would see them all out there cooking a whole swine in the yard.
Yeah, that's going back to the damn Book of Maccabees. Damn, the Greeks sacrificing pigs.
What is it? The desolation of abomination of desolation.
That's going back to Antiochus. Damn. You said what you got, King?
I said, this is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 12. If a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. That goes into what you was talking about the pastor and the Easter Sunday. All y'all following that pastor are wicked right along with his teaching.
Right. That's why the Lord said, "Warn to the pastors," right? Because in the last days, like I said, a lot of our people, man, to be honest with you, that's why when you brought out that scripture in Zechariah about, the 1/3 and the 2/3, a lot of them not gonna make it, right? Imagine if our people that have the same zeal to keep all these pagan holidays, and I mean, it get to the point where our people be out doing the damn heathens, right? Our people had, look, where I work at, man, the building I work at, man, Negroes had they damn Easter decorations up months ago. Negroes be having their damn Christmas decorations up in damn September, right? It's like our people can't wait for that time of the year to be going into all this pagan worship.
Salaki, as much as our people love to party, do they every month is a celebration? That you can party every month, sometimes 3-4 times a month. But they want to do these wicked holidays where they get to celebrate once every 5-6 months. I mean,
Right.
there's so many celebrations in this truth. It's ridiculous. It's hard to keep up with so many celebrations.
Right. But hey, like I said, that's why the Lord said our people are discontinued. Right. If they had the same zeal as they did for celebrating this paganism, imagine if we had all the people that's gonna be in all the damn churches tomorrow celebrating Easter, if they was in the truth celebrating Passover. It would have probably been delivered already.
Or the new moon.
Right? We would have been delivered already. Right? Imagine all the hundreds of thousands to millions of people that's gonna be in church celebrating Easter tomorrow. If all those people were celebrating the Passover and keeping the laws and commandments, right? But
Hey, so,
hey,
but
that's why
most
the Lord said, the matter of fact, let me bring this out real quick. Go ahead. What you were saying, King?
okay, Con, I would say, most of those people, this is the only time they go to church in the year anyway.
Right. Let me bring this out. This is the book of Second Nedris, chapter. I'm gonna start at this chapter 8. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, "And he answered me, saying, The Most High have made this world for many." Right. So the world that we live in today is made for many, man. You could be any and everything and anything that you want in the world today. You can worship any god, right? You can celebrate any paganism. You can be a homosexual, a lesbian, a rapist, a pedophile. You can be whatever the hell you want, right? So this world that we live in today is made for many, right? It says, but the world to come for a few. And that's the message that we try to let our people know every time we hit those streets. Everybody is not gonna be accepted in the world to come. So if you worshiping idols, if you a homosexual, if you into all this type of folly and madness, you're not gonna be one of those few that's gonna make it in the world to come. Right? A lot of our people don't understand that great destruction is coming upon this earth. Right? So I'm gonna jump down to verse 3. It says, "There be many created, but few shall be saved." Right? So only few gonna be saved in these last days. Right? So all those millions of people that's gonna be in church celebrating Easter tomorrow, hey, most of them might not make it unless the Most High wakes some of them up, right? But that's it on that.
Hey, Yashwan, real quick, can you read that Jeremiah 17 verse 4 again? And can another brother or Ephraim, can you grab Ecclesiasticus chapter 17?
Yeah, this Jeremiah 17 verse 4, it says, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee."
Right. So like the brother was just bringing out, that the Most High created this earth, for the children of Israel's sake. You know what I'm saying? And it said that we would discontinue from our heritage that He gave us, right? So let me get Ecclesiasticus 17. Start at verse 1 real quick. Just read the first verse.
Con. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 17, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord created man of the earth and turned him into it again.
Con. Drop down to verse 10.
Con. And the elect shall praise his holy name.
Hey, Lord willing, the men of the Lord that you see that go out and labor, week in and week out, the mighty men, their lot is to be the elect of Israel. You understand, are doing this work in the last days, with a meekful spirit, and humbleness of heart, man, with love for the nation of Israel. The brothers you see that go out here and do this work, that study every day and night, man, to bring edification for the people. But go ahead. Verse 11.
Con. Besides this, he gave them knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and the law of life for an heritage.
Right. So that's the heritage that we discontinue from in Jeremiah 17, verse 4. He gave us a law, for an inheritance, which brings life to the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
He made an everlasting covenant with them
Mm-hmm.
and showed them his judgments.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes saw the majesty of his glory, and their ears heard his glorious voice.
Hey, can you drop down to 17 real quick?
Con. For in the division of the nations of the
Mm-hmm.
whole earth, he set a ruler over every people.
Right. Understand this is what these nations, all of the nations of the earth, right, that think they are of the Most High, right? Understand this day that he set a ruler over every people. So we understand through the scriptures and the power of the Mashiach Yahawah that when we pick this word up, we are coming back to our Father. We're showing ourselves to be His. You see that? But go ahead.
But Israel
Mm-hmm.
is the Lord's portion.
Understand that you gotta respect and honor that if you're not an Israelite in the last days, man. We went through what we went through. You understand, because it's a testimony of ourselves and a testimony of our power. Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
Con. Whom being his firstborn,
Mm-hmm.
he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, doth not forsake him.
That's right. Jump to verse 24 real quick.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
But unto them that repent,
Mm-hmm.
he granted them return.
Understand that you must repent in the last days so that you can return unto the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
And comforted those that failed in patience.
Mm-hmm.
Return unto Yahweh, and forsake thy sins.
Mm-hmm.
Make thy prayer before his face, and offend less.
And that's the mission in the last days for all Israelites. We gotta repent, and we gotta begin to offend less. As we are in the feast of unleavened bread. And removing the leaven from the nation of Israel and purging out these sins. We gotta offend less as a people. And when you do offend a brother, regardless of rather if you see it his way or not, man, hey, you gotta make it right. You gotta make it right with that brother. You got brothers offending brothers in Israel on a consistent basis, and they don't care nothing past what they doing with their own camp or what they think they set themselves up to be. You got brothers setting themselves up in the last days. You see that? But the Lord is going to make right on all these things. Your rightful leaders are going to be, in right positions in the last days, man. But I yield on that. A beautiful lesson, Tawada, Yahweh, Tawada, Yahweh Shah, for the gathering of the nation of Israel in the last days. And much love to you, brothers, man, that do the will and testament of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah.
All praises, man. But like I said, man, if ain't nobody else got nothing, then we go close it out.
I yield. I'm good, brother.
All praise to the Most High. So, what you got? Some Ephraim?
Nah, I was just ready to bump some music on out.
All
That
praises,
was
man.
beautiful build, beautiful breakdown, beautiful edification. You know, for the people on, man. Yeah, the water for everyone that came in and, you know, gave us 2 hours of your time. We really, really appreciate it. You know, we're gonna continue to keep doing these builds. If we're not teaching on the street, you know, we doing the work in the classroom. You know, we doing this work as any way as we can fit. You know, in our day to day. So, man, the water for coming out to the nation of Yasha Allah. We love y'all. We're gonna keep building and doing the work. Hey, and that was a good lesson. The water for putting that together, King. That was good.
Hey, Shub,
All praises to Most High. What you got, King?
and I got a question for Shub on the stream. On the stream, man.
All right. Well, again, man, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. The water to all the brothers and sisters that came and joined us today. Hey, Lord willing, y'all could learn something from this lesson. We want to give a Kwam Yashala to the nation of Israel. Again, I'm Brother Yahshua. I'm by Yahweh.
Brother Zephaniah.
Hey, it's Brother Ephraim.
Yeah, it's the soldier Kaya Ban Yashala.
Shalom. Y'all know the vibes. Shalak.
Damn.
Shalom, my.
Yeah, shalom, your brother Yashuv.
Hey, shalom, this brother Ra'am, shalom, Tawadi Yasha Allah, Kwame Yasha Allah.
Kwam Yashala.
Come yourself.
All praises. All right, again, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Shalom, Kwam Yashala. Hey, Ephraim, get us up out of here, man. Get us up out of here, man.
Hey, Kwam Yasharala. What should we go out with today?
Hey, that's all up to y'all, man. Y'all the DJs, man.
Hey, Shub, real quick. Oh no, we still on the thing.
Damn. I just ended.
Yeah.